Welcome back to Fantasy Folder, the show where we talk about problems that both experienced and new DMs may be suffering from, and we try and solve them. Today, we're going to talk about villain types and how to use them in your campaign. So, you've been running your game for a couple of sessions now, and your adventurers are doing great. They're maybe 4th, 5th level, and they've been dealing with different problems in the area. They've been going to the local orc encampment and dealing with them. And they dealt with a hill giant that's been coming in and stealing all the cattle or demolishing parts of the town, and that's great. But you're struggling to try and find that thread of a story. There's no one who's pulling the strings. There's no one who hired the orcs to start an encampment over there, and there's no one who pushed the hill giant to go and take over this town. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the types of villains that could be pulling those strings. Villains can take a wide variety of forms, and you shouldn't be restricted by the normal tropes you find in fantasy. Having said that, let's take a red dragon, for example, that you can find in a Hobbit. They can be amazing bad guys. If you get deep into the lore of red dragons and how they think and how they work, they're not just a big bucket of hit points with a flaming fire breath. They are intelligent creatures. They think several steps ahead, and they can make amazing bad guys. But having said that, we're going to talk about the 3 different types of villains that you can try and use into your campaign to give the players a kind of a figurehead to aim for, and someone who can screw with your party as much as possible. I would preface this with one thing. Give your bad guys a purpose. Give them a goal. Give them a reason that they are causing this chaos across the lands. Otherwise, we get into that same problem as the Band of Orcs and the Hill Giant. I mean, those 2 individuals could have reasons for why they are doing this, that is true. But if they have a goal in mind, something they're working towards, something that they want to achieve, it gives them so much more purpose. And then the adventure just writes itself. So a lot of the time, you'll find that you come up with the different ways that those orcs are going to be encroaching on a town, and different ways that that Hill Giant is going to achieve its goals. So without further ado, let's talk about 3 villain types. Number 1, the Napoleon of crime, the Moriarty figure. Holmes and Watson's most difficult adversary. The Moriarty figure, in my mind, embeds himself so deeply into society that everyone believes that he is just an innocent bystander in the events that he himself is constructing. He uses his magnetic personality and charisma to make everybody believe that he has nothing to do with the situation, while at the same time he has splinter cells and agents working for him, doing all of his deeds to achieve his ultimate aim. What that ultimate aim is entirely up to you. It could be world domination, it could be dominating a particular mercantile district, capitalization of a particular trade source. All of these things are up to you to decide, but the Moriarty figure is a great one to start with. Low-level encounters and low-level adventures can have a Moriarty figure. If you're adventuring in a city, then a crime boss can be based off a Moriarty figure. It's perfect, isn't it? We already have so much inspiration to go off with the Sherlock Holmes novels, and you can steal from that. He influences different sects of bad guys and agents and has double agents working within them. He could try and infiltrate the party and have an NPC that you run double cross the party and make them go in different directions, while at the same time feeding information back to him and telling him exactly what they're doing. The Moriarty figure, because he is so embedded in society, it makes him very difficult to remove. Maybe even gets to the stage where the adventurers can't actually pull him down from his power because of the ramifications of doing so. Maybe they would be chased out of town because of how much people love him. Sherlock Holmes himself had a fantastic quote about Moriarty, which I shall read to you now. But in calling Moriarty a criminal, you are uttering a libel in the eyes of the law. And there lies the glory and the wonder of what it is. The greatest schemer of all time, the organizer of every delivery, the controlling brain of the underworld, a brain which might have or married the destiny of nations. That is the man. What a fantastic quote and great inspiration for your Moriarty crime figure. Number 2, the Joker, Batman's mortal nemesis. And in the words of Alfred and Michael Caine, some men just want to watch the world burn. It's a great tagline for a character, isn't it? I believe this character could be of any reasonable intelligence, and you can drag and drop it onto many different monsters and creatures and people. I personally want to do it with the Mad King, evil cultists, and personally my favourite is the idea of using 2 rich kids who have too much money and so much time on their hands. They just get bored. They don't want to get into the political structure or continue the mercantile business. They have too much money to burn and they just want to watch the world burn, cause maximum havoc just for fun. That's frightening. These characters typically use hit and run tactics. They'll destroy something and then run away, leaving almost no time for the party to intervene, but maybe showing themselves, giving the party the vision of who is up to all this atrocity. And then you've got someone that the party just want to kill and they hate them. And once you've got them hooked, then that's how the adventure starts. And from there, you can imagine the paths they take and the deeds that they do to cause maximum efficiency to their destruction. And that's a great, great thing. I'd love to imagine that you have this paladin who doesn't want to kill them, wants to bring justice. And just like with Joker, the Joker kills anybody to cause maximum destruction. Never kills Batman, because that's part of Batman's code of honor. Batman doesn't kill. And so Batman's the only person he won't kill because he wants Batman to break his own tenets. That'd be a great storyline for a Paladin, wouldn't it? The Paladin having to bring this Joker figure to justice while the Joker killing other people, left, right and centre, causing maximum havoc, never killing that individual member because he wants them to break their tenets. Steal from that idea. I think it's a really good one. And number 3, the fallen hero, the Darth Vader. This is someone who previously was on the side of good, who spent many years fighting for justice, doing the right thing, and then was betrayed by their own side. And then they decided to take matters into their own hands, decided to do what they thought was right. I love this villain. I truly do. I think it's possibly one of the greatest ones because it has so much story behind it. You can do so much with it. Imagine if you have a cleric or a paladin whose clergy this villain comes from. How much impact that might have to a paladin and their beliefs that their own church let this individual down, and now look at the atrocities that they are committing. The best example of this, I think, is actually from World of Warcraft and the Warcraft ethos. It's Prince Arthas Menethil, otherwise known as the Lich King. He spent many years fighting for the light, doing the right thing, trying to lead his people. And then, when the Scourge came and took over Stratholme, he decided it was better to kill all the living inside that might be infected so it wouldn't spread, than to try and find a cure. And there we start to see his divergence from the light, from the good, and start to see him go down this path of desperation to, I need to fix this. This is the only thing I can do. I have to fix this problem. I'm doing what I believe is right. And so he goes to further extremes, travels to Northrend, finds Nazul, becomes a Lich King, finds Shadowmourne, and takes a seat upon the frozen throne. They'll go to any lengths to do what they believe is right. And that's why I think they are great characters. These characters are complex. They can have deep and meaningful conversations with the party about what they believe is right. It could even lead to a split in the party. One side believing that what this individual has done is right, and the other side believing it is wrong. There's so many things you could do with this. That's why I love this character. I love this archetype. Because they have a really good story. A full background to why they're doing it. And it could be so impactful. Especially if the fallen hero is someone that they were previously adventuring with. An NPC that you put into the game. That is now fallen from grace. And has told their backstory to the party. And they don't know what to do. Do they help their friend? Do they save him? Do they kill him? What do they do? This could lead to magnificent inner party tensions. Go away and think about it. Come up with your own story. Come up with your own NPC. Figure it out from there. So, there are 3 different archetypes for you to go down and have a read on and do some research into and maybe incorporate them into your campaign. I really hope this has helped. In the process of writing this, it certainly helped me developing some interesting bad guys to later bring into my campaign. And I certainly will with the Fallen Hero and the Joker. I think it's going to be really good fun. Next time, we're going to be talking about something different than story. We're going to be talking about leveling up and different systems that you can use in your campaign and my own personal system, which we'll be talking about next time. Thanks for watching, guys. If you'd like to keep up to date with the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button down below, it really helps us out. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comment section down below and we'll try to get back to them as soon as we can. Until next time, guys, roll well.